Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Todd Rodden. I'm a certified business and executive coach. I go and Aspire Action Coach here in the Dayton and Cincinnati areas. And we're thrilled to have you join us today. You're going to hear a very compelling story. A second generation leader took over the business 11 years ago from the father who originally founded the business and really has transformed it and taken it to new heights. So welcome, Ian Murray from SpotOn Productions. We're thrilled to have you join us today on the Spotlight. Take a minute if you could. Tell us a little bit more about what SpotOn does, how you got started in the business, and what are you excited about today?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on, Todd. I really appreciate it. SpotOn Productions is a corporate and commercial video production company. We say that we create bespoke video that inspires and really helps our clients to show the world their best from an HR standpoint, what makes them different from an employer brand, as well as in the marketing space, what stands out about their services or their product offerings, and then also what's great about keeping their employees safe at work. The business was founded in 1998 by my father. He was running AT&T and NCR's worldwide multimedia out of Dayton at the time, and they decided to get out of that business, so he started his own company. I kind of worked in that business on and off part-time. I used to be actually a firefighter and paramedic for a number of years. And as the business was growing in 2014, I took over leadership full-time of the business as the president, led us through a rebrand. The company that was originally, and still our legal name is Murray Multimedia Resources. And we used to do a lot of things marketing related, from websites and brand guideline development, logos, marketing collateral. And in 2014, we really decided to focus on what we do best, and that's video production. Been doing that for 11 years now. Grown the company quite a bit from the original three family members. My mom and dad are both still in the business, and we're continuing to grow and hire some new employees. So that's kind of the quick rundown of where we are and how we got started.
All right, and exciting. Hey, the growth trend continues as well. So you hit on it briefly, but maybe if you could go a little bit deeper. Who are like your ideal customers? So if somebody listening into this would know, hey, they may be an ideal customer for your solutions.
Absolutely. So we really work best for companies that are kind of leaders in their space, are fast growing. They have 50 employees or more, and they're usually 10 to 12 million in revenue or greater. We focus on working with heads of HR, heads of safety, and heads of marketing. That's where we can help bring out that value the best. We do that in a couple kind of core verticals, and that would be manufacturing and advanced manufacturing, construction development, professional services, healthcare and medical. And then we've recently gotten into a lot of outdoor. In the past, we've done a lot with nonprofits and education, K through 12, and kind of career training organizations. But due to the economy, we still work in those spaces, but really have emphasized professional services now and um, that outdoor space over those.
Great. A very broad, section of different industries, different types of organizations within larger
Mhm.
companies as well. So what is it, every business is always trying to find ways to get the word out, right? To build more awareness. So what do you wish
Absolutely.
more people knew about you and your services?
One of the things I think that really sets us apart is that bespoke piece. We are not cookie cutter. We're not going to do whatever worked for the last customer is not necessarily going to work for the next business because they have different goals, different objectives. We really focus on what that business need is and help them create content to help that need. So whether you need to attract, hire, and retain top talent, or you need to launch a new product into the marketplace, or really showcase what's different about your service. We take that really custom approach to it, to really dig deep into those goals and objectives up front to make sure that the content that we deliver on the back end helps you move the needle in one of those spaces. A lot of times, creative companies in the video space like to create pretty things. They focus on cinematography. That's great. We do that as well. But at the end of the day, if you get a pretty product that doesn't do anything for your business, it's not going to be effective and not going to be a good investment. So we really want to make sure that what we do has a good impact on our customers.
So how might you maybe share some examples of that type of impact and how do you develop that story?
Yeah, so we really focus on we have a proven production process that we've created over the last 25 plus years, 26 years now. that really focuses on pre-production, especially to make sure that, what we identify with you up front as a goal for your business, we need to find the right story to tell. We do business storytelling, and a lot of that is finding the right people to tell your story. So our kind of pre-production process really digs into finding the right people and the right messaging that can communicate what the client is trying to tell.
So I'm curious, you've talked about kind of rebranding, so I think like 10 plus years ago, kind of refocusing. What are then your keys from a marketing standpoint to grow the business and build that awareness?
So we do a lot of organic marketing right now. We've tried paid Google ads, we've tried LinkedIn ads, not a huge return on that. We focus a lot on networking and organic posting and connecting with our network through LinkedIn. I'd say LinkedIn's probably our number one way we interact with current customers and build relationships and grow our network for future business. So really focusing on that. We do a blog post every week. Google My Business is huge right now. Your Google business profile keeps changing names, but staying active on that, make sure we're getting good customer reviews as often as possible, and then making sure we're putting at least a post out there every week to really, Google's the number one way people are trying to find you in an organic way. And they're rewarding people, especially right now, who have active business profiles on Google. So that plus just good content, focusing on getting that out on LinkedIn. We do that as a blog post on our website. We send it out in our email newsletter weekly. We post it on that Google business profile. And then LinkedIn has a feature where you can do an article or newsletter directly on LinkedIn. So we repurpose that content there, and LinkedIn will automatically send that out to our followers as well. So it's a great way to kind of engage that core customer.
Hey, thank you for sharing those. They're great examples of kind of blanketing several different channels with content. I think that you
Hmm.
probably repurpose
Yep.
to hit a lot of different areas as well. So, hey, your second generation leader came in. It's been 11 years though now, right? Every
Yep.
leader has some twists and turns, some hills and valleys in their journey. Maybe walk back in time. What's been a big challenge that you had to overcome, and what did you learn from that process?
I will say business doesn't come with a playbook. There's a lot of good information out there, but if you're first stepping into it, I've got a college degree in business communications, which is great. It gets you some foundations, but it doesn't teach you a lot of the things that as an entrepreneur or business leader you need, like how to deal with people and some of the problem solving and, how to handle specific marketing for your business. So I think building a network has been really important of good resources from individuals who are coaches, or I'm in a networking or not networking, but a roundtable group with similar style, similar age leaders that are kind of in the same spot I am in family businesses or private business. Part of that journey too has been getting plugged in with an organization here in Cincinnati. It's through UC's Lindner School of Business, but its own standalone institute called the Gearing Center, and they do a really good job with family and private business. They have a leadership development institute, but the big one that kind of I went through is Next Generation Institute, which helps you figure out how to take a business successfully and pass that from a first generation to a second generation, or a new thing is ESOP. So a lot of private ownership individuals are looking at ESOP options, and the Gearing Center does a phenomenal job as a knowledge resource and just connecting with you right people to help you with some of that planning. So finding organizations like that can help you on your entrepreneurial leadership journey, I think, are really important.
So, you mentioned quite a few there. Is there a lesson or two that stand out through all that?
I would say one of the core lessons is build a very good network of advisors to have around you. We did that with EOS, finding an EOS implementer, somebody that we can work with. We did that through the Gearing Center and connecting us to some of the right people. There's that old advice, like have a good accountant and a good attorney. That's like a base level of your network of professional folks you need to surround yourself with, but really finding maybe a trade group that can support you, or something that really can help you bring good advice for people that have been through what you've been through, or you can bounce ideas off of to build that professional network that can support you in your journey.
Okay. Okay. Now, so as you look forward, a great advice, surround yourself by that expertise. Always continuous learning is what I heard from you as well,
Yeah.
right? Tap into those resources. So as you look forward, what's a challenge you have in front of you that you're trying to solve for with the team today?
I will say staffing is one of the hardest things. And, I don't have a background in HR. There's no like how to be a great HR expert. You start recruiting for a role. Sales is probably one of the most challenging roles we've had to fill, just because I think our industry is a little bit niche and we're very choosy about culture fit and making sure that the experience is there. So one of the roles we're currently hiring for is a sales position, and that's been a little bit outside my comfort zone on trying to find, reading through resumes, finding the right things that stand out, because recruiting can be very time consuming.
So I'm curious, we talked before we started the tape here around elements of team, all right? I know you have
Yeah.
some deep learnings, some core beliefs around building a team. So walk through how you've been able to build the team, right? And what do you look for when you're bringing in new roles and new players into the team?
So kind of building on that EOS, they have an accountability chart that focuses on what seats the business needs to operate correctly. And then we focus on finding the right people to fill those roles. So we've been very good at finding the right people for production. We've got a sales coordinator that also helps with some of the marketing stuff, and then really identifying that sales seat. But we hire, reward, and fire based on values. And that's, I think, one thing a lot of companies, especially in their early journey, don't do a great job of, is really figuring out what their culture is. So culture often is defined by the founder or the principal leader, and it's those things that kind of happen naturally,
Mhm.
but then trying to figure out how you quantify or capture those core values and then use those to continue to build your company, because those are the things that we do a lot of culture and recruiting videos for our clients. So that's probably one of the number one things we did last year is video content to help attract, hire, and retain top talent, by showcasing core values, what makes a company different. And I think for us, really leaning into those core values, we have a core values trophy. We don't give it out often, but it's got all of our values listed on it. And when somebody does an exceptional kind of a over and above, we use that to say, hey, thank you for doing this value really well. And it gives it an opportunity to bring it up with the team too and continue to reinforce those to build that culture that we're trying to make sure stands out, from an employer brand perspective.
So how often do you go back and kind of relook at those values? Do you see the
So
change over time, or are they like bedrock? They never move.
they've been pretty bedrock since we started that. We really quantified and laid those values out on paper in like 2018-ish. And they're built into the EOS dashboard. They call it the VTO. So that dashboard has your values, it has your core purpose, your niche. It kind of has that marketing layout of who our core customer is. So those values have been in there since 2018 or so, and they haven't changed yet. I kind of hope they don't change because I think they're a really good representation of who we are as a business and what we want to continue to make sure we reinforce.
So, Ian, you talked about some of the growth you've had in the 11 years since you came on board as the leader. You're currently hiring, trying to fill some roles as well. What's your vision longer term for the future? So, if we look 5, 10 years, whatever your horizon is, what's the dream state you see for the business?
Yeah, so long term, part of the EOS is really doing a 3-year picture and a 10-year target. And our 3-year picture is a 50% growth kind of over where we are now, adding some additional employees that can support that growth in the business. And then the 10-year plan is to, basically 5 times the business from where we are now. So basically a 20% year over year growth by focusing on really intentional, being intentional about those core customers. Who's an ideal fit for the business? That's one of the hard things in business is, while you can serve everybody, is that the best way to grow? So being really intentional as we continue to grow about making sure we're focusing on core customers who really fit that value proposition that we're able to deliver, and making sure that as we grow, we're hiring the right people to support the business. And we've already got that mapped out for the next 3 years. So in 3 years, we know what that team complement needs to look like, and what seats we need to have filled.
Oh, love it. I love it. So as you think through, you talked about the importance of team and you're currently hiring. What's your view on remote work or having everybody in office, especially as you grow, when you still are somewhat talent constrained sometimes?
Due to our industry and kind of the culture we're trying to build and the way we have everything set up, we are very much a in-person office. We do have some opportunities for employees to work remote if something comes up. But really the focus is to have folks in the office because in a creative space, you need to have some of those unintended collisions with folks or to be able to really quickly bounce ideas off each other, or to have somebody say, "Hey, come take a quick look at this. What do you think?" Or for the sales team to have a quick conversation with the production team to say, "Hey, the client's looking for this. What are some ways that we could approach that?" So that's a lot harder to do to say, "Hey, can we schedule a Zoom call in 25 minutes to go over this?" So really having folks in office. Plus we do with large data files. So, we have those on an internal server. So having everybody kind of on that same page is really helpful. That being said, we do have opportunities for people to work remote as needed, but we really focus on that in office.
In office. So, hey, since you were highlighting, hey, you're looking for sales roles right now, could you maybe
Mm-hmm.
share, hey, this in particular, what the skills or experiences or mindset you're looking for in that role?
Yeah, so we want somebody that has full full biz dev experience. So from prospecting, networking, getting those upfront opportunities that can then go into qualification, discovery. We do statement of work, is that really laying out what the plan looks like, and then from there to close, and then we pass over to production. We're finding there's a lot of people that have experience in the BDR role, which is the kind of the cold calling up front, getting appointments set, and then they'll pass it to someone else. Or maybe someone's a closer where they had a lot of warm leads or hot leads delivered to them and they get them closed. But finding somebody that has that full sales cycle experience has been a challenge. And then our industry is unique. So if people that have been in a creative space where they can cast a vision for what something looks like. We, at the end of the day, really are our product is an intangible. We create files that are ones and zeros um, that can be used a lot of places. But somebody comes in, they're like, "I want a car." Well, what kind of car do you want? Do you want a Geo Metro? Do you want a Honda, Civic? Do you want a Aston Martin? There's a lot of things that can go in kind of the level of that, and then within each one of those, there's a lot of different features. Do you want cloth seats, leather seats, sunroof? All those different things. So somebody that can really sit down with a client in that discovery phase, ask a lot of really good questions, do a lot of really good listening, understand what the client's trying to accomplish,
Mhm.
and then work with our creative team to come up with a concept that meets those needs is a little bit more challenging than saying, I've got this product, it has these features. What features do you need? And then how many do you need delivered? It's a little bit more complicated. It's really that consultative insight selling that's harder to find.
So obviously, AI is growing, kind of, becoming more a part of every type
Oh
of
yeah.
business. So very curious in your world, you know, how you've already leveraged it for wins, and then where do you see it playing in the future?
Yeah, AI is a really interesting challenge in our business is like the mid journeys and the runways and all this generative AI content come online. Um, they can do some crazy things that used to take special effects departments weeks or months to pull off. We've used it as an efficiency tool. I think it's kind of the way word processing computers change the workforce. It makes employees more efficient at what they do. Yes, will it replace some jobs? Probably, but we really want to use it as an efficiency tool. So we actually wrote a custom GPT through Chat GPT that helps our sales team take information from a client meeting and really help condense that down into the core information that we need to start creating our SOW. It gives us a kind of a 70% of the way there on just those core details that come out of a sales meeting. And then the sales team can meet with production to do that last 30% really well. Focus on what that core creative is going to look like. So we've started using it for that. We've started using it to do some AI voiceovers. It gives us an opportunity to really quickly turn around a voiceover track or even just a scratch track as we're starting to work on an edit. So using generative content from that standpoint, um, and trying to figure out what that looks like for us from a, if we want to create a really cool scene that was maybe cost prohibitive because you'd have to do it through like an ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, and do all these special effects. What can we do with AI to supplement maybe a cool creative concept that we're trying to do? Our goal, though, is to balance AI with the human side. And that's what I think is really part of that bespoke storytelling piece that we do really well. You can create, Coke's done it. They've created an AI commercial completely, people are putting in the prompts, but, you know, it's potentially replacing artists, where what we want to focus on is telling our clients' stories. You can't do that with AI. You can't have an employee talking about their journey, why they came to a company, what's special about a company, how they relate. I mean, our brains are wired to connect with people. There's a ton of psychology behind that. So we really focus on the people side to make sure that the stories we tell are still genuine and engaging, and then use AI as an efficiency tool on the back end.
Hey, thank you for those specific examples. It's like every day you learn about another application, right?
Yep.
That's actually very exciting time.
AI is great for client research too. I mean, that's one of my favorite things. I do it. I'm on the sales side as well. Client research. It's a great way to say, hey, find trends in the industry for this company. So you can use AI to shortcut industry research and client research. So when you're prepping for a sales meeting or sales call, you've got a lot more information right there at your fingertips, and you can get it done in 15, 20, 30 seconds pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah, amazing how much you can get. So again, 11 plus years into leading the business. I'm curious. A lot of our listeners are a little bit newer in their entrepreneurial journey. So here's what have been your key success you'd want to share with them, or what do you wish you knew then that you know now?
Oh man, that's a great question. Um, I'd say focus on building your culture and your team. Um, Businesses are people businesses. Unless you've created just a bunch of robots or AI that do stuff for people, at the end of the day, you have to have a good team of people, and you want to retain them because they're important to building your company. I think the statement, "Oh, I can replace you tomorrow with somebody," is a real bad, real bad attitude when it comes to uh, hiring and keeping employees. So really make sure you have a good team. I think it was Richard Branson said, hire great people and take care of your people, and then the people will take care of the customer. We have some great employees that do a fantastic job taking care of our customers.
Okay, yeah, great advice, right? Starts with having that core team, right?
Yep.
So. So as we look to wrap up here today, Ian,
Yeah.
what are the best ways for folks to stay connected with you, to follow SpotOn? You mentioned several different channels, but where would you like
Yeah.
folks to plug into?
LinkedIn's probably one of the best places to connect. I'm on there, Ian Murray. The business is SpotOn Productions. It's spot on. Where is it? Right here? There's no space between the spot and the on. There's another spot space on in Ohio, crazily. So it's spot on, all one word, Productions. So you can find us on LinkedIn. Look for that logo there. And then you can reach out to me. My email is ian at spoton.productions, no .com. We got real fancy when we did our rebrand, and we're cutting edge on those new top level domains. So it's just ian at spoton.productions. And that's our website as well, spoton.productions. You can connect with us there.
All right. So as we wrap up, Ian, a very, very insightful messages that you've shared today. But I'm curious, what are you inspired by?
I am inspired by two things. I think I'm always inspired by the work our clients do. I always love learning from our clients. We do some really cool work with some people that do some really cool work. So I'm always learning from our clients and the different people I get to meet. That's what I love about being in sales, is meeting with a bunch of different types of people. And I'm inspired by people who kind of my role models, people who have done it before me that I can learn from. I've got two really good role models. One of them I've known for years, was part of the Gearing Center. He just recently sold his business. It was a father-son business he took over from his dad. So that's been really cool to watch his journey. And then honestly, my EOS coach. I'm also in a roundtable with him, and he really focuses on balancing life and business. So where one of my Gearing Center roundtable really focuses on business issues and solving business issues, this other one through my EOS coach is really about business, but also developing leadership and personal skills to deal with stress at work or building relationships or how to balance family time and work time. So I'm very inspired by people who have been there and done that and that I can learn from.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Ian. Many good learnings here, insights, key things around having trusted advisors, growing your network. But again, also it's a sense, an insatiable learner, right? And you're always
Absolutely.
learning and growing. So thank you for sharing your story here with us today on the Business Spotlight.
Appreciate the opportunity, Todd. Thanks so
Uh,
much.
All right. And to our viewers, we're thrilled to have you join us here today. We encourage you to hit that like button. That helps us grow the series as well. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can receive future inspiring messages like you heard from Ian Murray today from SpotOn Productions. With that, we thank you all and have a terrific day.